15 years ago, Americans woke up to a new era of terrorism as al-Qaeda carried out the worst terror attacks on U.S. soil. But for so many Muslim Americans, it was also an awakening to a new reality, the perception of their community's guilt by association.
Islamophobia is on the rise, there's no doubt about that. The political rhetorics by some, unfortunately, irresponsible politicians that inflame further fear and phobia among our American friends, that resulted into some violent behaviors.
Early this month in Queens, an elderly Muslim woman was killed near her home, just weeks after an imam and his assistant were shot dead outside a mosque. Many in the Muslim American community say these were hate crimes in a time of increasing Islamophobia that could unravel years of efforts to bridge differences.
We kind of feel like we built some relationships, but it's still so much worse for Muslims 15 years later in New York City than it was even days and weeks and months after 9/11.
Organizations tracking Islamophobia say violence against Muslims increased after last year's Paris attacks and the San Bernardino shooting, and escalated during a presidential campaign peppered with anti-Muslim rhetoric. In this climate of fear, the possibility that the Muslim holiday of Eid Al-Adha would coincide with the September 11th anniversary drew calls for Muslims to postpone the celebration. But Muslim Americans say the two events are not related.
This particular Eid is all about sacrifices. It commemorates the sacrifice that the Prophet Abraham made. As far as 9/11 is concerned, it's a commemoration of those that have lost, including our own family members, including our own friends. And so for Muslims, it's a day of mourning like everyone else.
The coordinated terror attacks on September 11th, 2001 killed nearly 3,000 people, of which 60 were Muslims. And as the nation comes together to remember those who lost their lives, Muslim Americans here say that it's also important to remember that as Muslim Americans, they are intrinsically Americans too. Li Ling Tan, CCTV, New York.